What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to another video on high altitude investing. In today's video, we are going to be talking about why I think the crypto markets will pull back while all this retail money is buying. But before we get started, if you're not a member of the free Discord, please click the link in the description box below and get started with the free Discord. And without further ado, we'll get straight into today's video. Okay, so we're going to start off here with Bitcoin today, and we're looking at the 30-minute time frame. The main reason I wanted to show you guys this time frame is the rising wedge pattern on Bitcoin. And this is a very common pattern to see right before a crash happens inside of the markets. Not only that, but we do have an ending diagonal. So if you type in ending diagonal on Google, ending diagonal, this is a very bearish pattern. It's an Elliott wave pattern. And oftentimes you get these ending diagonal Elliott waves right before a crash happens inside of the market. So you can see that we do have this ending diagonal on Bitcoin, and we have broken bearish out of this rising wedge pattern. And I do suspect that we pull back here on Bitcoin in this time frame. We also have bearish divergence, and this isn't a little bit of divergence. This is actually a very steep level of bearish divergence on Bitcoin. So let's talk a little bit about the bigger time frame as well, because normally we don't even do a lot on these smaller time frames. So we did mention in yesterday's video that we have a rising wedge pattern on Bitcoin, and we can see, or not yesterday's, the day before. Didn't upload yesterday, had some stuff to do. But you can see that we do have a rising wedge pattern on Bitcoin, and it's very common with these rising wedge patterns to go back up to the resistance of the wedge before you break bearish on these patterns. So that's expected here, and definitely something I'm watching with Bitcoin in the bigger time frame. I would not at all be surprised to see Bitcoin pulling back here, and if we do, people are going to panic, right? Everybody's bullish, everybody's long, everybody thinks we're going to break out and go to 90 or 100K. So if we start to pull back even slightly here on Bitcoin, people will start getting liquidated. We're going to pull back very, very quickly after that if we do get that. Now, I am going to show you one quick thing here in the VIP signals. So you guys can see that the Bitcoin liquidation heat map does show that we have basically $700 million in Bitcoin liquidations at around 68,000 per Bitcoin. So most people that will get liquidated are going long. There isn't a lot of people that are going short right now. Most everybody is going long. So that does also indicate that Bitcoin has a lot of FOMO, that people are trying to buy the top, and that they're getting too excited here and really thinking that we're going to go straight up. So I would not be at all surprised to see Bitcoin liquidate all of those people at around 68,000 per coin, in which case that would start basically liquidating a whole bunch of other people, and it would cause a panic in the markets that could take us back down to major support. So let's go ahead and look at the total crypto market cap, because on the total crypto market cap, we have a very, very similar setup here. We have a rising wedge, just exactly like Bitcoin. And we did break bearish out of this wedge, and we came back up to the top of the wedge to test it as resistance. Again, very, very common thing to have happen here. And also, if you zoom out a little bit here with the total market cap, you guys can see that we are at all-time high resistance. You know, people have all of a sudden forgotten that you don't buy resistance, you sell resistance, right? You don't want to buy at resistance, you want to sell at resistance. And we do have major all-time high resistance here on the total crypto market cap. And it would not at all surprise me personally to see a healthy correction here. And there's this whole camp of people that kind of think, okay, well, if we pull back on Bitcoin, that means that we have to pull back and start a bear market. And then there's a whole camp of people that think we're just going to straight break out and go to 100K, and on the total market cap, we're going to go to multi-trillion, 5 trillion, whatever. Now, I do think we eventually will go to 5 trillion plus in total market cap, but all I'm saying, you guys, and I'm getting so much hate for it, it's kind of ridiculous, is that we could pull back for a healthy correction here on the total market cap, and also with Bitcoin as well. And that would be a nice healthy correction back down to major support levels before we go into the moon. Like, I do think we will go to the moon with the crypto markets. And no, I'm not in the camp of people that think we're going to have a multi-year bear market. And I'm not in the camp of people that think that we're just going to straight moon. I'm kind of in the middle on this one. I think we're going to pull back, have a healthy correction before we go higher. So definitely something to think about here with the total market cap. And yeah, a lot of people are buying resistance up here. I see so many people drawing charts where it's just going to moon like this. It's just going to, just go straight moon. And I just don't think we're going to do that. The market has to pull back when we go up too high in the short term. And I really think we're due for a correction. So don't get too excited here, you guys. Be safe out there. Be careful. Don't just FOMO buy, FOMO buy, FOMO buy. It can be really dangerous to do that. So here's Flocky anew, and I'd like to show you, because a lot of people think, oh, it broke its all-time high. That must mean it's going to go super, super high here. And I just want to remind you guys of Matic back at the last top, where Matic broke its all-time high and did the exact same market structure as Flocky right now. And everybody was buying Matic up here, expecting a huge breakout, a huge moon, and Matic had to pull back to major support. So if we just use this example here with Matic, it's a great example of what I'm talking about, this pattern of human emotion that we're kind of looking at here. People expect just because we went up and broke the all-time high on Flocky, that means that we're confirmed to just moon. And if you look at Matic here, it slightly broke its all-time high and rejected, because resistance is a zone. Resistance isn't a single point in price. Resistance is a zone. So yeah, I definitely think Flocky anew could pull back here. And yeah, I do think it will go up again eventually after maybe a summer correction. But a lot of people are being really greedy up here, and they're not anticipating any sort of a correction. And I just think that that's dangerous, I think it's dangerous to get too excited at the tops. I've seen people FOMO buy a lot in these markets over the years. I've been doing this for 8 years. I've seen it a lot. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Pepe as well. Pepe is another example of a coin that I see a lot of people FOMO buying. I see a lot of people thinking, oh man, this thing's going to go crazy. Let's take the one off where I have my levels drawn. And actually, let's use one that was part of VIP information, so I don't want to really leak that. Okay, here we go. So you can see here on Pepe, we also have a lot of people FOMO buying up here on Pepe, and it's really not showing strength. We keep making lower highs and rejecting, and people are getting a little bit excited up here, drawing charts of it just super mooning. And I'm all for Pepe. I think Pepe is going to be a great hold throughout the rest of the bull market once we have a correction. Once we pull back, I think it could be a really good mover in the next cycle. And when I say the next cycle, I'm talking about micro cycle, not macro cycle. Because in the macro cycle, we are in a bull market. right? But in the microcycle, it's common for us to have bear markets over the summer. So I do think that this could have a mini bear market. And when I say mini, I mean mini enough that you don't want to hold through it. You know, a 50% correction is absolutely possible here for Pepe. And a 50% correction is not something you want to hold through. You know, that's a big enough of a correction that you're really going to kick yourself in the leg if you hold through that. So yeah, we do have descending resistance and continual rejections on Pepe. We also have a rising wedge pattern here. We broke bearish out of this rising wedge, but also you can stretch the lines out and you'll see that it's part of a bigger rising wedge. So that's pretty bearish. You know, that's a very bearish pattern here on Pepe. And yet again, most people are being greedy. So just be careful out there, you guys. Let's talk a little bit about Ethereum today as well. Ethereum. So again, people are FOMO buying Ethereum. They're really excited up here. They think we're going to break out. But I don't think we will. I think we're going to pull back here on Ethereum. I see kind of a left shoulder structure with a head right here and a potential right shoulder here. So if we break this support level at 3,600, 3,700, then yeah, I think people are going to start panicking because they're expecting us to break above resistance up here. And if we don't break above resistance, people are going to start panicking and it'll go right down to support. And if we pull back down to the 88% Fibonacci level or even the 786, the probability of us just going back up after that is very low. You know, it's a lot more likely that we'd make a slightly lower low and come back down to major support as part of a bigger ABC correction, which is what I've been talking about for the past few days on my channel, past few videos or so. And you guys can see that that bigger ABC correction would really scare a lot of people out of the market. There's a lot of retail money buying right now based on the news, based on all the excitement, and I don't think that we're just going to straight moon. I think a healthy ABC correction would really be perfect here for Ethereum. You know, if we draw a major all-time support and we go like this, A, B, C, that would look just exactly right. You know, that would look perfect. And maybe it stops right here. Maybe it doesn't go quite that low. I mean, I'm not a perma bear. I'm not crazy bearish. I'm just saying, you guys, a healthy correction looks like it's needed in this market. And I'm seeing in the charts that they're really speaking to that idea. That they're saying, hey guys, you're getting a little greedy up here. You're getting a little excited. And the charts are showing all sorts of bearish signals on multiple different time frames and a lot of bearish divergence on smaller time frames. And people are getting a little bit excited. People are thinking, oh, this is just going to go straight up. We're just going to moon here. And I don't see it in the charts personally, but you know, we all have different views, but that doesn't make it right. You know, there is such a thing as truth. There is such a thing as what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. And so you have to be careful to just say, oh, well, that's just opinion. Well, yeah, we all have different opinions, but some people's opinions are closer to the truth than other people's, you know? And with XRP, I've talked a little bit about XRP on this channel, but you guys, it's just had lower highs. I mean, it's just had lower highs. There's not a lot of strength here on XRP. It keeps getting rejected off of resistance. It'll go up there and it says, nope. It'll go up there, nope. And if this support level fails at all, this trend line that everybody's worshiping, then people are going to panic really hard. And it could lose 30% of its value before it goes back up again. You know, this could be ooh, that's 56%. Maybe that's a little steep. It could do that low. I I'm not saying how low it could go, but I think it could definitely do 30, 40% of its value and make a slightly lower low. You know, if we go over to ADA, ADA is a great example of what I want to show you guys here. Let's go ahead and remove all the drawing tools. So if we turn on the log chart and we look at the crypto markets, this is ADA, this is a capitulation event. So that's where people capitulate. There's usually some crazy news event or something that happens, some narrative that people use as, oh, well, we didn't predict it because this happened, you know. But that was a 70% drawdown. Let's see if I can fix the chart so you can get a better view here. That was a 76% drawdown, that capitulation event. And that just hasn't happened this cycle. You know, we have had this kind of bounce right here that happens on the false bottom that everybody thinks is a bottom. We had that right here. That looks just exactly like the false bottom over here. And to see a real true capitulation event here on a lot of coins where we pull back 50, 30, 70%, depending on the coin, is really kind of expected here, or definitely something we haven't had, and it happens every cycle. So just stay level-headed, you guys. I'm just trying to warn you. I'm not trying to be the guy that's trying to kill the party. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. I'm just trying to tell you guys, be safe out there. Like, people get too excited and they think it's going to go up a little bit too soon. And you just have to be careful. You don't want to get caught up in some coin and then realize later that you made a mistake, that you were too leveraged long, that you were too excited. You know, just be careful, you guys. Be smart. Don't get caught up in this. And Solana is a great example of overextended. You know, we're at all-time high resistance here. We have 5 waves up. In between the subwave of wave 1 and wave 2, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up. And then we have an ABC correction that I have drawn on this chart for wave 4 here. And you guys can see that ABC, this little pullback here, wasn't very big. Most of the time an ABC correction is significant enough that you can see it on the chart. And when you have 5 waves up like this, you got to pull back a little bit. You know, you got to have a healthy correction. And a great example is if you go from wave 2 up to the top of wave 5 here, the subwave of wave 3, but the subwave wave 5, you guys can see that an ABC correction would take us to the 382, which is exactly where wave 4 is supposed to stop, is the 382. So just if we pull back here in the markets, don't be afraid to buy the dip, but also don't be afraid to take some profit off the table and hold some cash. I mean, look how big this ABC correction was on wave 1 and 2. A lot bigger than this is so far. So to have a little bit more of a drawdown would definitely look good for these markets. So don't be surprised if crypto pulls back. A lot of people are very greedy right now. I personally think we're going to pull back. And yeah, just stay level-headed. Keep your eyes on the big picture prize, yes. But don't be afraid to take some profit off the table and plan on buying the dip. So then when we really do go up for the big one, the big run, the alt season, the super moon, which we will, it will come. It's just a question of when, right? And I personally think we're going to pull back first for a healthy correction before we go back up. I mean, look how perfect that cup and handle shape would be. It would just be exactly like what crypto has done historically, and I definitely think we're going to do that. So, yeah, that's my views on the crypto markets. Hope you guys found it helpful and insightful, and thank you for tuning in. I love you guys, and I will see you guys later. Hey, thank you guys so much for tuning into today's video. I hope you learned something and found it valuable. If you did, please do me a favor and share it with your friends. And I look forward to seeing you guys in future videos. As always, stay profitable out there.